All right, so today I want to talk about HTTP response objects and the headers that are inside those and why those headers matter. So you have a URL, you're doing a fetch call, you send the request, you get back a response object, that's what we're doing here. Fetch sends the request. We can, inside of that fetch, we can provide options like this. So we've got this object. Inside of here, there can be a headers object, and so we can create headers to send along with it. Regardless of whether or not we do that, there's going to be some headers that are created for us and sent with the request. When it comes back, there will be that response object, and there's headers inside there. So what's in there? How can we use them? How can we get to the values? And why would we want to? All right, so I've got a method here. I'm checking my response object to see that it's okay. If it's not, I'm throwing an error that's going to come down here. And if it is okay, right now I'm just writing out the response object. So in my browser, we can open that up. This is the response object. So there's a body object here. This is a readable stream. The headers object, this is the one that we're talking about right here. So this is the type of the object. It is a headers object. And inside of that, you can think of it like an array of values. So there's key value pairs, a whole bunch of key value pairs. If you go to the network tab in your browser, you can see, so here's the HTML file, headers.html. That's this file right here. And then the next one, this is the one that I'm doing fetch. So you can see the type is fetch. I'm going to get that. Let's click on this one to take a look. We can see there's a headers tab here, and inside this is the general section, but there's response and request. The general this is the stuff that you really need to know, that you'll often want to see. Okay, yeah, it came back fine. It was a 200 was the HTTP status code. This is the IP address where it came from. This is what I sent, and this is what came back. So request URL, this is what I was requesting. The method, we've got get, post, head, there's a whole bunch of those different methods. And in my response, this is the array of headers. So there's one called vary, its value is origin. There's one called content type. And we're going to come back and look at this. Content length, I'm going to do another video about that one specifically. But we've got all of these different values that we have access to. And they'll tell us things about the file that's coming back. So let's try to get to those values. I'm writing out the response object, but I want to know just, okay, let's go get the content type. Let's find out what kind of file. Because you'll see here, I didn't write index.html. I'm just saying, okay, whatever the default file is for this folder, web server, please send this back to me. So let's find out what kind of file it is that's coming back. So we'll do a console.log, and my response object has that headers property. That is a headers object, and there's a whole bunch of methods that we can use inside of here. One of them is get. So what is the name of the header? So if you know the name, we can put that inside of here. Content type. I want to know what the content type header is for this object that came back. Here's the value, text/HTML. So that is the index.html file coming back from the server. I've got the MIME type and the char set for it. Okay, so we have that, but what if I want to get others? What other methods do I have, and how do I get the other header values? So just to let you know what some of the other methods are on the headers object. Some of them you use on the response, some of them you use on the request. We've got append to add something to the headers object, delete to remove. Now I can't delete it on the one that came back, but when I'm creating headers up here, I could delete something. Get is going to let me it's going to let me retrieve the value like we just did here. We've got has, if we want to check and see if there is something inside of there. Does it have this header? We can use values. We can use keys. So content type is a key. You want to get an array of all the keys. Values is just all the values from all the headers. Entries gives you the an array of arrays. Every one of the arrays inside the main array that you get back from entries is going to have a key and a value. And there's one other set, that's what it is. set lets you in here, when you create a headers object, you can set the value for one. All right, with all those, if I wanted to do the same thing as entries, if I just wanted to loop through them, I could use a for of loop as well. So H, that'll represent an individual header of, and I can say resp.headers. So I'm going to loop through everything inside this headers object, and it'll give me for each one of these both the key and the value. Let's write that out. There we go. So here's all the headers, the same as what we saw in the network tab. We've got all of these that we've got access to. So why does it matter? What am I going to do with it? Well, I'm going to comment this out temporarily. I want to be able to use this fetch. Maybe I'm writing a function, and I want to be able to use this for different types of files. So one common function that I pass in a URL, and I know that it could send me back a JSON file, or an XML file, or an HTML file, or maybe even an image or a video file. So I need to be able to handle those different things. I can look at this value right here. I can look at each one of the headers. So let's say I can look at the content type header to find out what kind of file I'm getting. So this is going to give me that value that started out with text/HTML. And I'm going to create an object that I'm then going to pass down to here. Inside the object, I'm going to create a few properties. I'll create one called HTML. I'm going to create one called JSON and one called blob. This would be my image or video file. And whichever one it is, I'm going to save that data, and then inside here, after I've returned this object, that's going to be sent down to this function, and I'll be able to use destructuring to grab one of those. So depending on which one it is, each one of these will either be null or that type of object, that type of file that we got. So in here, if type, which is going to be the string that says starts off with text/HTML or something like that, we can say starts with, and if it starts with text/HTML, I'm not going to worry about the character set. We can do this, else if type.starts with, and let's say application/JavaScript or application/JSON. We'll say that's our JSON files. Else if type.starts with image / something. Could be a JPEG, could be a PNG. So regardless, any one of these, I'm willing to accept that. I'm going to return the object and handle it down here. So we can say that obj.html is equal to, now this is my response object, right here, this response object. And if it is HTML, I'm going to use the text method. Now this is an asynchronous method. And that's why, if you're wondering why I had async up here, it's because down here I want to await the response of that. So we're going to get that value back, and then obj.json equals await resp.json. Or if it starts with an image, obj.blob equals await my response. And I'm going to call the blob method. So if it's this property now contains a string, which represents the content of the HTML file. If it was this is now a JavaScript object. And if it was this is now the binary data, an actual blob object, the binary data from the image. Those are being passed in, and now I can look at this. So if HTML means it's not null. If JSON, I know I've got some JavaScript object, whatever it is, I can handle it. If I've got a blob, well, then I'm going to deal with the image and put it on the page. So how would I deal with this? I mean, this, it's just a JavaScript object. You deal with it like any JavaScript object. For HTML, what I can do is I can start to look at the DOM parser. The DOM parser object is what's going to allow us to turn a string into an actual document object. It's like if I'm doing document.queryString, I'm dealing with the document object, and by default, this one represents the current page. Well, I'm going to create a brand new HTML file, basically. So I'm going to have a doc. I call my DOM parser. This is going to create an actual document object, and then I'm going to call the parse from string method, which takes two arguments. The first one being, hey, what's the string that you want to try and parse? So it's the contents of the HTML file, that big long string. And what type is it that we're dealing with? Text/HTML. There we go. So I have that. We could then do something with that document. Same way we would the DOM that's on the page. We could get the, I know there's an h1 tag inside this HTML file that we're bringing back, the index.html file. Here we can console.log. We will write out doc.body. There. So let's try that. Here it is. There's the body. So this is the contents of that index.html file. There's the h1 tag. So I could access that the same way I would any piece of HTML on the current page. So that's representing the h1 tag, and I could write out the text content. There we go. So that is the content right here, this piece of text that's inside the h1 tag. I can write that out. And there it is. So if you're bringing back HTML, so my function handles bringing back the text, it handles bringing back the JavaScript. If it's bringing back an image or some binary file like that, let's do that. So I'm going to create an image element. And then we need to take the actual blob, the binary data, and turn that into something that we can pass to this image. So I'm going to have a URL that I'm setting on the source. So I can take the blob and turn it into a URL, or a URL that points to the internal saved binary data in the browser. Let's do that. URL is going to be equal to URL.createObjectURL, and then we pass in our blob. So it's going to take the binary data that's saved in the browser, and it's going to create a URL that points at that binary data, and now I can do this, and then append it to the page. So document.body.append, and we'll add our image onto the page. Well, I'm not passing in a blob right now. I haven't fetched one, so nothing's being added. But if we changed this URL right up here, the one that was just bringing back the default, the index.html, if I do that, that still works. If I change this to be one of the images, and I've got one right here, so let's bring this one, the 237-400-300. I think that's right. 400, 300. Yep, looks right. So I save that. Now, what's happening is we're requesting a binary file. So inside my fetch, I go get that image, I bring it back. I'm writing out the content type, image/JPEG. We can see that the image was added. So we checked the types. We got one that started with image/JPEG. So I'm taking the blob, I'm using this asynchronous function to retrieve the binary data, and I'm saving it inside my JavaScript object, which is then being passed down here. And I'm saying if it is a blob, so if this is not null, I've got a blob. I'm going to create the object URL, set it to the image, and put it onto the page. And that is why headers are important, because headers let you access things like the size of files, the type of files that you're getting from your fetch calls. Lots and lots and lots of valuable information inside there. You're dealing with cores. You want to know what's going on with the cores headers? It's the headers. This is where that information happens. All right, so hope that helps you out. Hope that inspires you, gets you thinking about what's actually in the headers for the requests and the responses. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments down below. I'll answer as many as I have time for. And as always, thanks for watching.